Hello, everyone, and welcome to Meticulous Talks on October 1st. Happy October. I am Chris Accords.
And I'm Hifrock.
Historic might sound a little different, but that's because he's in a new place.
Yeah, there's not much here yet, so there's a little, just walls, really good for for sound, empty walls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But that'll improve with time.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, as far as today goes, well, this is this is kind of a spoiler review stream. Now that I think about it, kind of, sorta. It's
Yeah, it's it's spoiler but earlier.
kind of, yeah. None of I guess to set the context, over the course of the last couple of weeks, Grandpa's has been kind of dropping little batches of prototype designs for the fourth supplement in Discord and soliciting comment on them. And so we're going to go through them all here today. And as I say, none of these are real card designs. Well, okay, they are real card designs. None of them are finalized things that are necessarily going to be released. This is why this isn't a real
Yeah,
spoiler stream per se. Just
I
kind
mean,
of
I
a.
hope some of those things get released.
I know you are going to be hoping for some of them, for sure.
At least two.
Like it's actually a fairly high proportion of Trixies in here.
Yeah,
I feel like this supplement is going to contain all the Trixies that have been cut from previous sets by the feel of it.
yeah, that's where they all went on the shelf to be taken out later.
So sorry.
Because you can't get rid of Trixie. You can. She
Mm-hmm.
will keep coming back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It is a
Yeah.
principle of conservation. Uh.
Also reference to one of the cards.
Oh, that's true. Yes, that's a good point. You've paid more attention to this than I have, pretty clearly. Or, well, at least to the Trixie cards.
Yeah.
In total, I think there were 3 different sort of batches that went to Discord. And in total, it's 19 cards. It's a good mix of friends and events and resources, and even one main character in there.
hmm
Um, shall we get to it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We are going to go through these in sort of. I need to be careful here.
In some order.
Well, it is in the order that they were dropped
Yeah,
from
makes sense.
top to bottom. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, we don't have art for these. It's just text and placeholder names. But here we go. So, starting with Dr. Hooves, be right back. An Earth Pony in purple, 2 cost, 2 power, 4 requirement, hasty, and you play this card, banish a friend, then put that friend into play. It is interdimensional portal, but as a friend, basically.
Yeah. Like
Um,
has one higher rec and lower power.
yes.
But a friend.
Yes. Portal was a 3 flip, right? I think.
I think it was 4.
Okay.
It wasn't 3, I think.
Okay. So it
Yeah.
flips for 2 less, 1 higher requirement. But other than that,
Oh, it was a
is
3, you know? You're right.
oh, okay, yeah. So very similar,
Yeah.
but as a friend. So friends are. Well, okay. Now I need to think about this. Are friends easier or harder to counter than events? So Desert Road exists, obviously.
Uh, I think I think friends are easier because like there aren't many things that cancel events, and those that we do have, many people don't run them, unlike Desert Road.
mhm.
And if in a hypothetical situation where a portal deck becomes meta, and this is like one of the auto include cards, everybody's gonna run Desert Road because that's what portal decks do, right? They kind of like those interplay effects,
Yeah,
and
that's
the
a
Desert Road is a good counter to that. So
fair point. Yeah, you have an enabler of the BRB style play that is countered by the same things that counter the
yeah,
BRB style play. So that's interesting.
so I think like events are easy in general, but maybe friends can like it's easier to bounce friends back. I think,
It is.
or
Yeah.
at least I mean, it depends on which color you're playing. Like in white, it'll be easier to get events back, I guess.
Yeah. Well, there are there are ways to do it. Even yellow actually has some ways to get your friends back into your hand.
Yeah, but it's
Um,
like kind of yellow's thing, right? Or you
uh,
mean from discard pile?
Yellow is from play back into hand, and then
Yeah,
yeah, white would be from
and that's what
discard
I
pile.
was thinking. Like if you're playing like a yellow deck, maybe this would be actually better than an actual portal, because you might
Um,
find it easier to bounce friends back.
could be, yeah. Um, and in general, I think like I would be happy to have an implementation of Portal back in core. Like I
Yeah,
it comes up on this stream often enough that Portal was just such an awesome card. Like
yeah,
obviously too powerful in its original implementation. But like the
mm,
the versatility of it and the number of different things that you could use it for. I just think purple really would love to have that effect back, and I would love to be able
yeah,
to play with it again.
yeah. I think like the closest thing we have on core right now is Luna's feature. We used to have like Party Clasher. We used to have Discord with the
Mhm.
Chaos effect. We used to have actual Portal, but all of that got rotated. So it's nice to see more of these effects. Maybe I say it now and people will like hate it, but I love it's purple. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, purple needs a pick me up.
Yeah, there was also another card like that's in in one of the slides that's purple orange, and it's like also portal, but a little bit better. Like kind of fixes some of the annoying situations you might have with portal. Pretty good.
Okay,
Anyway, we'll get to it.
yeah, I will I will see it. I guess I gave each of these like a little run through when I put the slide deck together. But otherwise, I'm afraid I haven't given too
Yeah,
much of a perusal to the cards yet.
it's great. First look
First look,
on
yeah,
stream.
yeah, absolutely. Well, the ultra rares kind of stick out in the head. I
Yeah,
know those,
and all of the tricks, of course.
and all the trickies, of course. Yeah. Next card.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of, why don't you just take the introduction of this?
So this is the best card because it has both Trixie and teacups. Like, I mean, that's it. It doesn't even have to have text. But more seriously, this was it Rainbow Shine that did this, right? It was Rainbow Shine, right?
um,
Let me double check that.
well, there have been several rainbow shines.
Yeah, yeah. So there was a purple pink Rainbow Shine that had a trigger on the face off, and more importantly, you had exhaust this card to play one less for your next event. So this is basically that, right? Except,
you're talking about that rainbow shine.
yeah,
Um,
this is basically that, except like reversed. You have to
yeah,
play the event first, and then you get AT back.
yeah, kind of. Um,
Because I don't see a situation where you wouldn't exhaust her immediately. Like unless you really needed her power, you know?
Well, not immediately, main phase, but yeah.
Yeah.
um,
So I mean, it's a little worse than Rainbow Shine,
right.
but it's just purple doesn't have pink. But the rec is kind of high, I would say. I think for an effect like this, I would have it at 2
Right.
because Rainbow Shine has like one rec. It's in 2 colors, admittedly,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's one rec in both colors and
Well, she
same
was,
cost, same power, and
yeah,
like better effect because she's immediate, pay one less, and she also has a face-off trigger that
yeah,
draws you cards.
yeah.
So
Rainbow Shine was one requirement in Purple Pink in the meta where that didn't matter because transitions existed. Um,
yeah.
yeah, and
Also, GP points out that this synergizes with zero cost events, which is a good point.
mhm. Yeah, this is a like something that did stick out to me is that this being in core definitely says we need to be extremely careful about any effects that ready stuff because that turns into combo very quickly. You have something like this.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, you also have Rainbow Shine, which, unless, like again, unless you're not like unless it's a zero cost event or you are trying to reduce like cost past zero,
Hmm.
this is the same as Rainbow Shine, and that has the same ready problem, right? Where if you keep readying her, you could keep play events for cheaper.
Yeah, actually, that was the problem with Trixie Main, wasn't it? Essentially, right?
Yeah,
Um,
not a problem.
it was what she did that made her good.
It's like the only thing she does, though. There's nothing else. It's literally her only ability.
um, yeah.
I
So
would still have this like at a lower rec, maybe.
you,
Three is a bit harsh.
like 3. Well, yeah, 3 is saying, well, it's blocking it out of the first. Well, I mean, not even really. Like, uh, in purple especially, like if you're running spell for that, you could still just play this turn 1.
Yeah, but like that's very specific. Like you gotta. That's true for any free rec card in purple, you know.
Well, yeah, I'm just well, purple is the color. Well, I should be
I
careful
mean, you
about
can
that.
play any orange cards turn one with Grogger. So
It's true, and I mean, well, not turn 1, but like you know, all the colors have Sequestria mains that you can just flip real
yeah.
easy. So the difference
Do we
between,
get Tempest back? Imagine,
I, I
imagine a
mean,
Tempest meta.
she's still out there. She like I'm honestly surprised that fewer people play Tempest these days. I mean, dilemmas are all over the place, and lacking lesson plans exists, and all that. But like from a core sort of its pure value perspective, Tempest main still exists. She still works.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be
it's interesting.
surprised.
I mean, I think that's because like everyone runs Fire Friendship nowadays. It's like Fire Friendship was a card that's like countered Tempest and Grubber,
Mhm.
but people don't run it for that now. People run it because it's a good entry card. Most of the time, the discard ability doesn't actually matter.
Yeah,
Or I mean, you can get it for free with some stuff because of the discard ability, but it's not because Tempest or Grubber is in meta. That's for sure.
indeed. Yeah, and well, obviously Grubber would probably come back with Tempest, but there are other options out there. The sort of Grogar pull for the extra AT off the start. It's kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, even yeah, you can pull any Troublemaker. So a couple of epics, Night Vision maybe is often
Yeah,
a really strong pull off the start of the game.
I really like the Discord Troublemaker for that. Was it Discord? I think it was Discord, right? The one that exhausts for 18.
Well, no, that was Grogar, the one that I mentioned.
Oh, I mean, Groger and Discord are basically the same thing.
It's true. Yeah. Anyway,
Wait, was it Groger?
I thought
Oh
it
yeah, it
was.
was. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, I really like that with Tempest. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
a really neat trick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You probably get your AT back.
Yeah,
And you
probably flip your main for free, and your opponent might get a point, but maybe you have some ways around that. Anyway,
sorry.
I
Excuse
know
me a
it's hard
second.
to move on from Trixie, but
Yes, let us. There's more coming.
yeah, so
Okay.
good.
Oh, if you want to take it, go ahead.
Oh, well, so good was about Trixie, but this card is also interesting. It's another purple card with a 2 purple. It's a resource. Plato Home, your main has studios. When one of your epic Troublemaker is defeated, you may exhaust this card to pay 1 AT to put the Troublemaker from your discard pile into play. And it enters play face down, of course,
Mm-hmm.
like all Troublemakers do, unless stated otherwise. So that's interesting. Do you think this is a farm resource? It does say
Well,
epic Troublemaker.
it's epic. Like giving your main character Studious is a pretty big deal. That's what farm
Mm-hmm.
decks usually do, is defeat their troublemakers with their mains. Although, funnily enough, the purple main who's most often used for farming already has Studious, I think.
Yeah, and double studios doesn't do much.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, that's usually the way that you do it. Like if it's a villain, especially that you're putting back into play, then your main character's already at the problem.
Mm-hmm.
You don't, you don't care that your main character's there as long as it's not. I said villain. I think there's no villains. It anyway. Yeah, I mean it seems like it has farm written all over it, just
Yeah,
from the way that it's built.
and like from what like we were seeing, I don't think this goes into a purple deck. I think this goes into, how people run nowadays, like a farm deck plus some other color,
Hmm.
and that other color is like not quite like not everybody runs the same secondary color. Like we've seen purple, we've seen pink, uh, and like other colors, yellow, I think also. So either way, this might be a really good card to splash into
Yeah,
in a farming deck. Like you don't have to run purple; it's only 2 rec, so
yeah.
splash into it.
That is a rushed makeover or a fire friendship or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, a your standard blue farming main, which is slaying
Yeah,
most these
exactly.
days, yeah, would really appreciate this. Um,
Even an adventure, like Rainbow Dash Farm would love this. I think
mhm.
you have all of the villains, which is amazing with this card, right? Because you replay them all over again and again, and your main like moves to the face-offs for free and has studios. Like it's pretty good.
Yep. Uh, Farming decks are usually not really hurting for AT. But well, you more AT is
I mean,
never a
AT
bad
is
thing.
cards,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
farm decks like cards.
yeah, yeah. More AT is never a bad thing.
Yeah,
Um, Grandpa's pointing out that there's Professor Twilight, who can
for
farm
an
as
entry
well.
card.
Yeah, which that's a fair point. There is yeah, there are purple mains that, or wait, I assume that's what he was talking about was Professor
No, I
Twilight.
think he was talking about the entry, right? Because we mentioned like fire friendships and other things.
Oh, I
Or
guess.
maybe it's the main. I don't know. But it like I don't I don't believe in farm purple. No, which one? The main. Okay, you were right.
Right. Yeah.
I don't believe in purple farm. Not yet, anyway. I believe it in harmony.
Well, I mean, it works in harmony, right? And so the implication should be that like there's got to be some special.
Okay, but it works in harmony because like there's a main that's like really good for it. Okay, the main enables that kind of deck, right? Here we don't have a main like that, and like this resource, it's not on the main. You can run other mains with this resource, and I just don't see why would you run a purple main when you can just run, you know, other mains for farm like Soleno, as we've seen. But I don't know. That's just my thought
Well,
on it. I
yeah,
think it's
it's
like I really like this resource, but I don't think it enables purple farm in like core or adventure.
hmm,
It it helps other farms. Okay, maybe there's a card that will change that in the future.
okay. Okay, we'll see.
Maybe I missed it when I looked over all of the cards.
Oh, I see. He's yeah, well, he's saying that.
Oh, there's also updated text. Okay,
Okay, fair enough. Um,
sure. I still
yeah,
think like this card will be. I mean, even if a purple farm is a thing, this card goes really well with other farms as well.
yeah. And for what it's worth, well, yeah, I think this particular, if I recall correctly, this particular batch of uh cards was released sort of under the byline of trying to help purple out. Uh,
Yeah.
which is I think why there's going to be some white stuff coming up as well somewhere down the line.
All right.
So now we move on.
Next card. Yeah.
Next card. Right, yeah, more purple stuff. So slow clap, a purple event with 3 power, 1 cost, 1 requirement. But be careful with those 1 requirement purple events. With immediate speed, move an opposing character till the end of the turn. You can't play events.
So this is like Frozen Magicite, but without chaos and better, I guess.
Well, it is. Yes, for the purposes people usually used Frozen Magicite. Well, at least for the purposes people actually played Frozen and Magicite because it showed up in Chaos decks a fair amount.
Yeah.
But yes, for the purposes that you would actually play that card, it's basically the same thing because you usually don't play more than 1 event on your opponent's turn. You save 1 event for the score phase to prevent the DFO or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. And I think you kind of like when you play a control deck anyway, you kind of know when you're gonna play more tricks or not. It's not quite common to be like surprised, like, oh no,
Mhm.
I need to like. I don't think I don't think the until the end of the turn you can play events thing is that big of a deal. I think
Yeah,
it's interesting, but I think it will be kind of easy to play around that.
yeah. Like what it means essentially is that you can't play more than 1 of these per turn. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, which given that this is such an efficient event, that kind of makes sense. Um,
yeah,
like, yeah, you could, given that it's cheap, it's relatively easy to copy at least. So if you want to get multiple uh, uses out of it, you can do that.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it being a uh, low requirement cheap event makes it great for the Celestia main. You want to play events early, right? To be able to flip.
Yeah.
And actually just play cheap events in general to search up your unicorns and alicorns. Um, that's
Also really easy to splash into.
also true. Although,
I don't think there's like a reason to splash into it,
yeah,
but
like colors
other
don't.
colors usually just have better stuff.
Yeah, like colors don't splash purple for tranquility, right? It's just a card that all the purple decks
Yeah.
are on. But yeah, it's a good sort of what would I want to say? It is a upgraded version of immediate movement with an interesting kind of drawback on it. that.
Yeah, it's a cheap trick for purple. We haven't had those in a while, I think. And I mean, even like as a Magicide replacement, Magicide was a good card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And for what it's worth, I always say, thank you for this. It's versatile. Just move an opposing character. Doesn't say it's got to go away from a problem.
Yeah. It'd be better if it said move a character. Or move a card.
Move a card. Man, that would have to be purple, blue, orange? Right? If you want to move
I don't know
resources, that's
because
an orange thing. No, if you want to move
yeah, but
Troublemakers, that's a white thing.
I'm gonna move a problem, thank you.
Well, technically speaking, people do that all the time right before they play dilemmas.
Especially when they play that good old Royal Guard deck.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was fun. All right, next card.
Sure. Nice card. Right, yeah, it was this big purple batch. Trouble is coming. Friend, chaotic, 2 cost, 2 power, 1 requirement, another 1 requirement purple. This one is chaos, like I said. When this card is flipped, it gets +2 power till the end of the face-off for each Troublemaker in play. When this card enters play, you may put a Troublemaker from your hand into play. Okay, yes, so Grandpa's... I was thinking this is the one that's got the special text on it, so let me just wait for the update.
So is this the card that's supposed to...
Yes, this is the card that Grandpa's is going to give us the revision on.
Okay.
So, I guess... Let me just quickly... I can actually update this slide.
Okay, so instead of putting Troublemakers into play, it now moves a Troublemaker to a problem. Sorry, moves a main character to a problem when you play a Troublemaker there.
I should just copy this. I wish. Oh boy.
Oh no.
Formatting is going to be hard. White, and it has no background.
I think there's a clear formatting button.
Probably.
But it's too late now.
Well, yeah. And then this is 12 point. There we go. All right.
There we go. Looks right. I mean, this is one purple deck. You don't have to run this in the purple deck, you know?
You're making that argument all stream. For friends, that is more valid. That kind of thing does happen a lot more often with friends. And this is certainly this implementation. You play a Troublemaker to a problem, you move your main character to that problem. Yes, Grandpa was saying this is farm oriented. Yeah, that's super farm oriented.
Yeah. It's more farm oriented than the previous text.
Yeah, I mean this is getting close to the kind of things that blue gets for free.
Yeah. Yeah. To be honest, it does feel more like a blue-purple card, I would say, than just purple, right?
Well, yeah.
Get the free movement. But anyway, I'm not convinced in purple farm just yet, but maybe... You know, I'm glad. I would be glad to be proven wrong. I'm all for purple farm.
Right. So here's a theory just popped into my head. Right.
Okay.
So like Purple Farm, it seems like it's always like it doesn't have as much power in the main character as Orange and Blue Farms usually do, right? And so you'd think that Purple Farm probably either needs to have some other way of, like, the deck's going to have more friends in it, like this one, or like the one that amplifies the
Mm-hmm.
Studious, or whatever. So either you need a way to win the face-offs that's not relying on your flips, which is what, like, Professor Twilight did, or you just need to have super good control over the card that you flip, which I guess means you got to splash pink.
Well, Professor Twilight did rely on flips, right?
Uh, maybe I need to remember exactly
Oh
what the
wait,
text was.
non-professor. Sorry, yeah, I got confused. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Just
Yeah,
don't. Never mind.
yeah. So like maybe that's what you need to do is well, splash pink, I guess, for Pinky says.
Okay, no, no, no. Okay, okay. You splash blue and then a little bit of white, and you like do some control early game, and then you farm late game. And you know what you get? You get my deck from old form, which was not an anti-farming deck. It was a farming deck, but only in the late game.
thought we resolved this.
No, the treaty still needs to be signed.
I suppose that's true. Yeah. Um, like yeah, and Grandpa points out there are some tools out there. Um, I think well,
Yeah, I mean, sure, there's like same day for food, but like, I don't know. I'm unconvinced.
well, I think that if and when and if these cards come out, I would want to try Purple Farm out and
Sure, absolutely, yes.
see where it goes.
Again, I would love to be proven wrong on this.
I doubt I would be the one to prove you wrong, but uh, somebody might.
All right, next card.
Sure. Right. So that. Well, yeah. Thorough cataloger. Friend. One cost. Two. Sorry. One power. Two cost. Three purple and white requirement. As you play an event, you may exhaust this card. If you do, and that event would enter your discard pile, banish it with a library counter on it instead. If this card would leave play, banish it instead. If you do, put all your banished events with library counters on them into your hand. Now, when I saw this card, I was reminded immediately of that SR Spike from Equestrian Odysseys, who did pretty much the same thing this card does. Not exactly the same thing, but very close. He was main phase, exhaust this card to banish an event from your discard pile. Main phase, banish this card to get all the events back. So it's
Which card was that?
Spike number one assistant, I think was the name of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's close. This card is better than that card because that card was an activated ability to get your events back, and this one, if it ever
Yeah,
leaves play, you get your events back, as long as it wasn't frightened or lost its abilities first.
but I mean, even if it was frightened, you can just unfrighten it because that's what's different with that spike. That
Ah,
spike as a card tracked which cards it banished,
right,
and if anything happened to that spike, those cards are gone. But
right.
here you can play not like if anything happens to this one, like they frighten and then dismiss it, and you don't get the effect, right? You can just play another one, right, and make it leave play. And you'll get all of the cards back anyway, so they're not gone forever.
The counters stay there. Very good. Yeah.
Yes,
So
which
much.
was like, yeah, so much better than the spike.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, spike. Maybe this should be spike. You know?
Probably, given how close the effect is. I mean, you'd think so. Um, but yeah. So this is you're kind of building a permanent bank of banished events. It is a great way to quickly banish events, right? Which I like for my for my Celestia that likes events to be
Of
banished.
course.
I mean, that is like a legitimate thing, right? The thing that
Yes.
I've learned from playing that card is that like, you know, obviously it doesn't work. This is restricted section. I just remember the name of it. Like it doesn't work when you play that card and then slowly banish events from your discard pile. What works is when you have some mechanism of banishing all those
Yeah.
events beforehand, and then you banish, and then you just play a 10-power Celestia, right? Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, this card's one way to get there. It is a 2-cost 1-power friend, which is pretty anti-tempo. Um, and it's got fairly high requirements, so you're not going to be playing it early. Um, so maybe it doesn't work particularly well with that style. But well, that's where my mind goes at least.
Yeah. Fun card.
Yeah, yeah. Well, sorry. Uh, Purple and white. I don't know if it's quite right to say that they needed per se more ways to get their events back. Um, but this as a one-time effect. This isn't an F-stop. It's going to banish itself if you ever use its recursion ability. But
If you make, yeah, I just had a thought. If you make tokens of this card, you can banish them. I
huh?
don't know if they cease to exist first. Like I think the leaf play thing should still trigger, right?
Card would
Yeah,
leave play. I mean that
yeah,
makes sense to
yeah,
me.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So you can get this effect more than 3 times.
Hmm.
You just need to get up your copying game.
Well, I mean, if one of those events that you're getting back is an event that creates a copy of this
No,
card.
hold on. Yeah, yeah. So can you deepen the pool or something like that? I know it's not core, but we have copy effects in core. Maybe there's something there as well. And then you use belly flop to retire one of the copy spikes.
Yeah.
And
Now the
so
thing
as you
is,
play event, you can exhaust the spike you're gonna dismiss, I think, because that's as you play event, not after you play event. And then I think it doesn't matter that the spike will gone by the point we resolve the event. The event will still go into the banish pile. So yeah, there we go. You use belly flop, you dismiss the spike, and then you get that belly flop immediately. And now we just need something like tranquility, I know, and there you go. Hey,
I mean, this is starting to actually sound kind of promising.
oh, that's fun. That's fun.
Anyway, um, yeah, I actually wouldn't be surprised if that kind of sort of worked. I don't know if it's going to do anything particularly
Yeah, it's
useful,
just
but
like copy effects on rare, kind of rare. So
yeah,
maybe for a reason.
who would have thought? Yeah. Um,
Oh, we should get the Chrysalis teamwork combo back. Maybe this will be the card for that.
is that's not legal anywhere, right?
I think it's legal harmony. It should be.
Oh, okay.
Like the Chrysalis that banishes a friend from your discard pile and gets its effects
Right.
didn't go anywhere. It's still in game, and teamwork is still in game. So as long as those two things are in game,
There we go.
you can get teamwork on any card.
Harmony, the garden of beauty that it always is.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the next card.
Okay, nice card. Right, this is the orange
Oh
purple
wow.
card that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I don't know how GP approved this. It's Equestria Girls Portal.
Well, like that is not really like. First of all, it doesn't necessarily involve EQG art.
Yeah, probably not. It will probably have like a portal and like Twilight Pony next to it. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But I even flavored this one. Turn to the dark side.
um,
Let's have an EQG supplementary set. I mean, with every step, we're a little closer
A
towards that.
little closer, a little closer. Yeah. It is an
Anyway,
event.
this card.
Yeah,
Yeah.
orange and purple, 4 power, 2 cost. Requirement 3 in orange and purple. At immediate speed, do the portal thing. And also, if you targeted an opposing friend, then it gets desert roaded when it comes into play.
Yeah. And that's what was really annoying when you were playing Portals,
Mm-hmm.
is that if your opponent has a lot of interplays effect, you can't use Portal as a free move, basically. And it was like, yeah, I really want you to stop from doing this like double face off, but if I portal anything, everything's gonna be even worse. Like if they have Rutherfords or they're also playing a portal deck. So this is kind of an upgrade to Portal, right? In a way. The only downgrade in this thing is the requirement, which now is also orange in addition to purple. Which might not be a bad thing, you know. Purple orange is quite strong.
Sorry, I'm just quickly looking up. Oh, yes. Yeah, sorry. I believe the caveat Grandpa is mentioning in the chat here, which I don't think I had, strictly speaking, mentioned yet, was that we wouldn't necessarily get all of these all at once. The inclusion of some would exclude others, and yeah.
Mm,
So it isn't
okay.
necessarily correct to speak of all of these portal effects, shall we say, together. Chances are you wouldn't get all of them at the same time.
Well, I hope we get all of the Trixies at the same time. That's the only thing I really care about.
Well, that's the thing. We were talking about the conservation of Trixie earlier. It kind of seems like a set can only have so much Trixie in it.
The set can have all of the Trixie, like, trust me. And again, as we'll see, like, can't get rid of Trixie. She will keep coming back.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. So yeah. So yeah. So I guess that's important. Yeah. We consider this card in isolation, probably from the other portal effects.
I mean, we can't really do that because, like, some of these cards here they synergize, so being hard to not think about them as well. But it's something to keep in mind
Right.
that those might not be together.
Yeah. But yeah, it basically for all the reasons you stated. Yeah. Friends with really good interplay abilities are kind of all over the place in core and adventure these days. And so yeah, framing the event this way makes it just a much more control oriented sorry
Yeah,
implementation of the portal effect.
it's just you get like if you can use this card as a move, basically. We're probably not going to release free BRB enable portal effect simultaneously. Well, I mean, I would.
That's a hard signal. Yo, we want BRB to be a deck so badly. Yeah. Well, yeah, and of course the implementation this way does still give you all the versatility on your side of the board that you want.
Yeah,
Wait a second.
but you know, if I had to choose between this card and that portal friend that we had in the first slide,
Hmm.
I think I would choose the portal friend because uh, it's just purple.
Yeah, I just had a thought. Um, if you've taken control of an opposing friend and then hit it with this, it reverts to their control when it enters play, right?
Yes.
Does that count No, like
I don't think it
it
counts because it wasn't an
it
opposing friend
it
that was
yeah
banished, so it was your friend.
it has to be their friend that was banished that allows that to work.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
So that is actually unfortunate if you're using this to take back control of a friend that they borrowed from you, because it'll still get desert roaded, even though it's entering play on your side of the board.
Yeah, I guess.
A little unfortunate.
Yeah.
Um.
Next card.
Anyway, yeah. Nice card, I guess. Oh yes, this is the real simple one. Fair and equal. The 1 cost, 1 power, 3 requirement, purple and yellow friend that says at the end of each player's turn, that player gains 1 action token. So the synergy with Magic Overload was pointed out like right away, because of
Yeah, of
the
course.
fortuitous timing of those triggers. This allows you to preserve 1 AT for your deck. Which is, yeah, that is a really big deal for a deck playing that event. You both get to preserve an AT over your opponent's turn if you want to do anything with it, and also have an extra AT on your next turn.
Hmm.
Yeah, which you do need to use because you'll lose it, obviously. But yeah, yeah, and all for the small problem of giving your opponent an extra AT for their turns.
Yeah, but I mean that's kind of the card, right? Yeah, that's the point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You get AT and they get AT.
yeah, it's interesting how is purple yellow kind of like the color combination? Well, it's not. There are plenty of quote unquote unfair things in purple and yellow. It just seems like kind of the colors that get, this, and then Magic Over gives you AT but takes your AT away also. Actually, maybe that's just it.
Yeah, I mean this card could just be purple.
It,
Giving your opponent
yeah,
AT, I don't think that's in any color at this
yeah.
point.
Well,
You
yeah.
don't really have any cards like that.
Grandpa's mentions incriminating evidence, and like, yeah, purple and yellow are the 2 colors that together are AT manipulation. Like
Yeah,
not just you getting AT, but sort of global scale AT manipulation. You include the new Zipper
yeah.
Willie
It's just yellow is
UR.
usually about taking away AT, and purple is about gaining AT.
Yeah.
But this card is just gaining AT. That's why I'm thinking it could just be purple. But I don't think we really have like any cards that give your opponent AT, right?
Give it. Stuck together could sometimes, depending on how you play it.
Mm. Oh, there's high T.
Oh,
No, that's different. No.
no.
Yeah, no. Yeah, let's give AT to your opponent.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So see, that card is just purple.
That card is just purple. It's true. It's true. Does does Magic Arena give your opponent AT sometimes, or does it just
No,
not do anything
no,
for you?
no. It banishes your cards if you fail.
Oh, I see. Okay. I know it did something bad for you.
That card is the best card in the game,
Absolutely. None better.
and it doesn't even have tricks in it, so you know it's really good when I say that.
Yep. But yeah,
Anyway,
well, yeah. There's not actually a whole lot to say about this card. It's pretty clear where it's going and what it's trying to do, and it.
yeah,
I I do always like card designs that are just really simple like this. There's just
yeah.
one line of text, and yeah. Shall we?
Next card. Yeah,
Yeah, we're getting close to
we're
the.
halfway through.
Oh, really? Is it only halfway? Uh,
Yeah, it's 10 out of 20. Like I think we should speed up a little bit.
spoiler streams. Why must they be like this?
We're getting to the end. What did you say? No, we're in the first half.
Oh boy. Okay. Candlelight Sentinel. 2 cost. No, sorry. I my brain always goes cost first because I'm used to reading like top left, then requirements, then
Yeah,
power.
yeah.
2 power, 1 cost, uh,
Correct, pink white.
3 rec, pink white. Yes. When an opponent plays a non-friend card for the first time each turn, they may pay 1. They don't. You get a draw. Um, so that's like it's kind of like mini cadence, isn't it? It's similar.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Uh,
also 2 power for 118.
yeah.
So it's like it's really efficient and it draws you cards. Or gets rid like taxes the opponent.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, kind of, sorta, right?
Yeah, I
Like
mean they choose.
it's one of those weird things, right? Because on the one hand, you think, well, they just get to draw a card. That's not that big of a deal, and it's only once per turn. Like it's nowhere near cadence. Literally everything. It's just one non-friend card per turn. And frankly, there's at least some decks out there that aren't going to be playing non-friend cards every turn.
Yeah,
Um, well,
I think so. Drawing one card costs a little less than 180 in general.
yeah.
Depends on the colors, I guess, but so I guess you're getting better value by not paying the cost and letting them draw the card, because otherwise you lose 180, which is kind of bad.
Hmm. Like,
Like I think I would most of the time rather have them draw a card. But maybe not. I don't know. It's hard. I guess it really depends on the deck I'm playing against. Some decks I don't really care if they draw more cards. Some decks I care a lot if they draw more cards.
right. Well, it's like, yeah. I feel like most of the time you'd be okay with it, but there are a few situations, um, namely, I guess, if it's like the end game, um, and honestly, yeah, the opponent needs to not have the one trick or whatever that'll stop you from winning, and you can afford to spare the AT. Then I guess,
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's super specific. Now that I'm thinking about it, like it is the last turn, and I can spare the AT. I guess I'll pay for it so you don't draw the card. Ah, yes, Grandpa's points out still partying. That's a fair point. That's a fair point. That's a situation where
Yeah, where
denying
paying 118 is definitely better.
them
Yeah.
a few draws is a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. But regardless, it is still 2 power 1 cost. In
Mhm.
pink and white, which are 2 colors which can stand to benefit from that. It's a pretty high requirement though, actually, for two power 1 cost text that's not super relevant most of the time. Well, I mean, it is actually drawing you a good number of cards. It's not that
Yeah.
it's not super relevant. It is drawing a good number. Oh, okay, maybe that's all right.
We've had one cost for free rec cards before.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay, Yearling, I think, was free rec. Maybe two.
Was it 3? I think it might have been 2.
Oh, was it two?
It was something like that.
Well, if Ake Yearling is two, I think this card should be two.
Yeah, maybe it was 3.
Ake Yearling effect was really, really strong.
Hmm. Anyway, you said we wanted
Yeah,
to speed
yeah.
up.
Next up. Yeah.
uh, we're getting close to the ultra rares, I think. Right, Problem Guardian. 2 power, 2 cost, 2 rec in orange and yellow, calming 2, and if this card would be sent home from a problem for any reason, It isn't sent home instead. So sending home from problems is what happens after face-offs.
Yep.
What happens after? Well, actually, what happens after problems get replaced for any reason? And other cards that
Troublemakers.
specifically say send. Is
When
Troublemaker
you
a
lose to
send?
a when
I
you lose to a troublemaker, you send someone home.
Is it a send?
Pretty sure it has to be sent.
Right, because otherwise move stuff would get triggered.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, gee, I didn't even think
So
about
you can
that.
just send this home, and it doesn't and you just don't.
Yeah, that's real good. Um, yeah, that's that's real good in a farming context. Well, I mean,
Okay, so you have this, and then you have Novo.
um, yeah, actually, that and Novo, that is pretty good now that I think about it. Either you, uh, like, the opponent deals with Novo somehow. Well, okay, fair enough. I lost the face off. It's still there. If they only frighten Novo, then I just unfrighten her and try again next turn. Uh, no problem.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think I don't know. Can this calming? So calming has been historically not quite popular, and maybe this is a fix to that because it's calming that sticks around, and
Yep.
for zero cost, you just play it and it's there forever until it gets removed
Uh,
or moved.
well, yeah. It's gonna stick at that problem for the rest of the game unless the opponent deals with it.
Hmm.
Um, and that
Hey, it's
is
yet another way to confront fire and ready. Just have six of them and color them in different colors.
well, yeah. Or yeah, that is the only way to do it. um, well, I guess we don't know what the traits of this friend are. That could come in important in the fire
Yeah.
when ready scenario. If this is a Earth Pony, a Unicorn, and a Pegasus, then
All at the same time. That'll be cool.
yeah, then
But you don't. Yeah.
yeah, and of course, yeah, this is super in mechanics for orange and yellow. They're the colors of things not going home.
I wonder if this is
Let's
good
say
for a
that.
farming deck. You
I'm
know?
like, so it's a little interesting. Obviously, it could be good for Yuna because then the flip is less of a problem.
I mean, sure. But if you have three of this in your deck and it's the only low flip you have, it's fine. And this lets you farm two troublemakers at once. You have main at one problem and you have this card at the other problem. And this card is not going anywhere. So if you lose to a troublemaker with this card, whatever, you can just try next turn. Like, I think this could be good for a farming deck. And I mean, yeah, it has only two power, so it's not a lot of power to work with when you challenge a troublemaker with it. But people have been running farming decks where they farm with their main, which has free power.
Hmm.
So I think there's a potential here,
Okay, and
especially since you can play other friends. Like if you play Dash and Mo, well, I guess it's not blue, but if you play some other friend and you lose the face of whatever, you don't lose anything. You can try again next turn.
okay, so do you put this in orange farm then, or
Sure. Or yellow fire,
well,
it's orange yellow.
that's what I was just talking about. Uh, um,
You can
but
put this into both of them.
eh,
But I mean, orange farm is what is for an orange farm nowadays?
you just saw it at Continentals like a month ago.
Yeah, that was forever ago though.
Okay, well, long story short, it looks a lot like it used to. Lots of troublemakers and not a whole lot else. That may have been just feathers though.
Yeah, but like that's the thing. They like orange farm doesn't usually like to run many friends. So maybe this goes more into a yellow farm, like Thorax, you know?
Oh, Thorax. Yeah, I totally forgot about Thorax. Yeah, pretty good
This
there.
has like 2 power, so
Yeah, that sure does work, doesn't it? You know, Thorax, the main that is in the orange yellow deck all the time. You forget about that. Okay.
right, should we
Yeah, let's go. I keep expecting these ultra rares to start showing up, and there's always one more. Uh, Doomsday scenario. Uh, three. Well, yes, 3 power, 3 cost, blue and purple requirement. Meticulous 2. If you would look at any number of cards from the top of your deck with your character's meticulous abilities, instead you may put that many cards from the top of your deck into your hand, then discard that many cards. So meticulous turns into, well, it was training, right? Except not triggered on friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting that it doesn't say draw that many cards, it says put that many cards into your hand.
That
I wonder if there's
is,
a reason for that.
well, so yeah. Well, yeah, that's the magic term, grandpas. Yeah. Um, well, so like obviously there are some pink cards that care about the number of cards you've drawn per turn.
Yeah.
Um, which
You can't flip a vinyl main with this.
yeah,
True loss.
yeah, fair enough. Um, yeah. So and like admittedly, actually, here we are looking at pink. You could burn through your deck real fast if you had this and some number of meticulous cards out.
Yeah.
Like, there is still the problem of getting to 15 Unity pink somehow, but still partying decks solve that somehow. That's not the part of the combo that matters.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this like effect is incredibly strong, but it's very interesting, and it's might be like if you want to go for your deck, it's strong.
Yeah, like so.
Or if you need to discard cards, it's really strong
Right,
because you just immediately replace them and you get what you want, which is discarding cards.
right. Like I think about it like normal meticulous, even like meticulous 2, for example. You're looking at 2 cards and you're comparing them, right? Like versus each other and versus the value of a random draw from the top of your deck, right?
Yeah,
Whereas this one, you now get to say these 2 cards compared with any of the cards in my hand. Um, well, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, which is probably going to be well, better, frankly. And it's increasing your actual draw per turn. It's like actual card advantage rather than discard filtering.
I wonder if this card is like really good for combo decks in general, like not just leading to love stuff. Because like if you imagine like your typical Harmony combo deck before Vinyl ban, why did they run Vinyl? Well, it's because Vinyl gives you a card every turn, right? An extra card
Hmm?
to go through your deck quicker and find your combo quicker.
Yep.
This card kind of does that, but better. You know, it's admittedly it's not a main, but every meticulous cards, which I guess in the combo deck would be just this card or some random other cards that happen to have meticulous in them, like Paper Twice, which are not a thing anymore.
It's not really
Uh,
happening, no.
yeah, but like you just like it doesn't matter that you discard cards. It just matters that you go through your deck quicker to find whatever you need.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's properly positioned at a relatively high cost and requirement. Because yeah, this if this sticks around, this has the potential to be real good. Now that I think about it, what is I'm reminded a little bit of the ultra rare star scroll. What does it do?
It lets you. It reveals top three cards. And I think you choose one to like put it to your hand, and two you put on the bottom. I think it's something like that.
Right. Yeah. Like not that the effect is mechanically the same thing. Obviously, it's not meticulous, but like it is the kind of card that like if that sticks around in play for a while, boy, does it just like deliver lots of value. And I
Yeah,
feel the same way about this card.
this needs more meticulous. Oh, we need old money back.
We every like not a stream goes by that we don't manage to somehow get in. Wouldn't it be great if old money was back in the format?
I mean, she's like blue, purple, white would be great. And she has meticulous too.
It would be great. It'd be too great. That's the problem.
I don't see any problems with that.
Yeah, but yeah,
Anyway, I think we should.
yeah. Meticulous 2 is really good just on its own. Like there haven't been that many cards with it, but like
Yeah,
almost let's say most of the cards with Meticulous 2 have been really good in their times.
yeah. Although this is not, you can't disable the effect with this card. You're not really getting meticulous too, right? You're getting.
Uh no, it's an optional.
Oh, it is. It says May. Okay, that's good. Well, I guess you're gonna say yes every time, right?
I mean, yeah,
Otherwise, why do you play this card?
why not, right? Well, I mean,
It could be so you can like if you
if
have
your
another
hand,
meticulous turn.
yeah, like if your hand is so good that you think there's no way I would want to discard any of these, then then take the regular Meticulous, I guess.
Or you could have like another meticulous card. You look at the top card of your deck. You see if you like it or not, and if you do like it, you can just draw it with this effect.
Right. Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
Like if you have multiple meticulouses, you can kind of take a peek first and then decide whether you want to do this whole thing. It'd be amazing if it's up though. Like you look at the cards first, and then you choose whether you want to do this or not. Maybe it'll be too amazing
Maybe a little too.
for Mortal Games.
Moving on.
Anyway,
Yes,
yeah. Oh, this one is simple. It's old money.
that's right. Vindication, a pink yellow event with 4 power, 2 cost, pink yellow requirement, that dismisses a friend, resource, or troublemaker.
They should put meticulous too on this card. I don't think.
It's an event. That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, exactly. It would be cool though.
Yeah, this is a well. So at 2 cost main phase, that's like definitely low cost for such a versatile um uh card.
Yeah, I
Frankly,
mean,
sorry, go on.
it's petite sneeze, but cheaper, better, and in other colors.
Yeah, well, much cheaper.
Yeah,
And yeah, for the amount, like I think about it, pink and yellow. Okay, you're not going to be hurting for resource removal in pink and yellow.
nope.
You're not well.
But you might pass on the research removal, like
Yeah, like
you want like that's what's the thing with old money, right? With old money, you can afford to not run resource removal because she is your resource removal if you need it.
yeah, and that is the benefit of a card like this. It can be whatever it needs to be in the situation that you're in.
Yeah,
Maybe you just unconditional dismiss any friend, like no restriction on it. That's pretty good too for what it's worth. Um, resource, troublemaker. You're definitely like these 2 colors have a fair amount of options for dealing with troublemakers, but
yeah.
even so, just straight up dismiss a troublemaker. There aren't actually that many effects to do that. Like Sanctuary Construction does it.
I think Turning Point does it. If you discard a card,
Oh yes, yeah, it would.
it's a
Um,
yellow thing.
it is, yeah. But yeah, like this is actually a fairly well resource removal tends to be cheaper than 2-cost in yellow if it's just straight up dismiss a resource.
Yeah, but this is more than that.
Yeah, but yeah, like for the other ones, 2-cost dismiss any friend, 2-cost dismiss any troublemaker. That's fairly competitively costed.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a pretty decent bundle of those 3 effects. Frankly, yeah, I think it's an interesting card to have together.
Mm-hmm. But just in pink yellow. So guess it's time for you to get your strawberry deck back.
Strawberry doesn't want to. This, yeah, honestly, this probably Strawberry deck probably would run this, just because it is kind of short on deck slots and would love to have this.
Yeah, but surely you can free something for a versatile remove like this.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, like this could presumably free up. Like you put this in, and you can get rid of like 6 or 7 other things that were serving the purposes
Yeah.
individually. Moving on.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, this one we already know. This one I helped design. Piggy Squeeze, the blue-pink event with 4 power, 2 cost, 2 blue and pink requirement that at immediate speed. Yeah, exactly that text. Choose an opposing character at a problem. Move one of your characters to that problem. Those characters can contribute power to face-offs or confronting problems this turn. I don't know why this was even like we've seen this one with art before. A little strange.
Oh yeah, it's that one. That's right. Yeah.
You have it.
Okay, I remember now.
Yeah.
I don't have the art, but I remember which it was the community card. Yeah.
Yeah. As was designed at the time, super versatile. It so obviously has the benefit of the move in your case. Obviously, if you're playing this aggressively, you're playing it on the opponent's turn, so that your character can confront next turn. But with also the control-ish element of preventing them from confronting.
Or fighting troublemakers.
Mm-hmm. Or being in any face-off.
Yeah.
Actually.
What are you looking at?
Me?
Yeah, what you said actually, and then you never continued.
Oh. Sorry. You kind of broke my train of thought. I was gonna say, and maybe, well, yeah, this is only an adventure that you've that you run into Bluna. I guess, yeah, you mentioned farming. This is good, in particular as an anti-farming tool. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, your opponent moves up to face off with a troublemaker. Do this, yeah, it's characters, so yeah, you can throw your own main up to that problem. They can't farm for that turn, and you're set up to do the farm next turn.
Yeah.
And actually, blue and pink are the one of the more popular farming decks these days is blue pink.
So I see. So okay. So you know how we saw like a lot of cards that like, oh, this is good in farming. So a couple of years ago we had like a control meta, then we had the mid-range meta. Recently we had an aggro meta. So now it's time for farm meta.
It's
This is
time
where
for
we're going.
farm meta. Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Get Pancake on the phone. He's going to be so happy about this.
I mean, last time we had like a farm meta was so long ago. It was when AJ was a thing.
It's true. Yes. It's been a long time since farm had a particular, I don't want to say dominant per se, but had a particularly big share uh, of the decks. Like it's obviously never gone away,
Yeah.
but still remains just a thing that one or two people do. and admittedly, you're right. We have seen a number of cards out of here, and again, I'll bring up Grandpa's point that probably wouldn't necessarily get all of these at once, but yeah, a number of these cards that seem to be saying, "Oh yeah, that's good for farm."
No, release all of them tomorrow.
Anyway,
should we?
Yeah, sure. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, it's
I've
ultra rare.
been waiting so long for these.
It's the wrong one though.
It's true. Ultra rares are the fun ones. Although, like oh shoot, I should have. That's reminder text. Nah, anyway.
So if is it a steel tricorn if it's not a corn, doesn't have a horn?
What is Ember not a tricorn?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, Ember's a dragon. She has horns.
So technically, yeah. If you want to go that route, then yes, okay. Ember and Thorax still count. Yeah. Oh yeah, Pinky. Yeah, good point. Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
but I mean, Pinky is like its own spawn of chaos.
Oh well, gee. Now we're going. Do words even have meanings anymore, man? So anyway, Spitfire. Yes. Ultra rare friend, Pegasus unique. 4 cost, 4 power, which is interesting actually. Now I think about it.
Unusual.
It's not 5. 2 blue, 2 rec, blue, white, and yellow. Normal requirements for a tricorn. So keyword, yes, assist 2. Which, yes, if you would spend action tokens to pay this card's cost, and exhaust up to 2 of your characters instead. If you do, each exhaust counts as 1 AT, basically.
Yeah.
Yes. And then at immediate speed, you may play this card from your discard pile as though it had hasty. And then when this card enters play, your characters get +1 power until the end of the turn. So, well, a couple things, I guess. First of all, the go from discard pile thing kind of whitish. Your characters get +1 power till end of turns, kind of bluish. That implies that the assist 2 is your characters get +1 power is the yellow thing. That implies that the assist is like the blue contribution to this card.
I wonder why does it say immediate? It doesn't have to say immediate. We've had cards that like you can play this card from your discard pile without any keywords.
Yeah, that is interesting now that I think about it. That immediate doesn't really need to be there.
Yeah, because like it already says that it is hasty. So anyway.
Yeah. So assist is, I think, a super cool keyword. It has a lot of potential to go places with. Like, obviously, it is a what's the word I'm trying to go for here? It encourages you to go wide, to have as many stuff to exhaust as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like, one of the things that comes to me is that, like, it could be in the future, there could be like specializations. It could be assist to Griffins, assist to Pegasi, right? That like specifically require you to exhaust friends of a particular type to activate the keyword. And that that's something that I like. The fact that this could be extended, I guess. That's the word I'm trying to use. To different archetypes.
One thing that I feel like a little weird about this card is this assist kind of goes against the, its last ability. You exhaust your friends, and then you give them 1+1 power. It's like by not exhausting friends, you're kind of paying 1 AT so that those friends get +1 power.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it's fine if you have more than 2 friends.
Yeah.
But still, kind of counterproductive against itself. But at the same time, you can exhaust things at home with that don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not non-location restricted.
Yep. Or well, blue, white, and yellow, chances are you're going to have
Yeah.
some tokens lying around. Maybe some tokens that you exhaust and then just retire them with Rocket Screw to make more tokens anyway. Um,
Yeah.
this +1 does apply to characters that enter play after as well, right? It's one of those
Uh,
cloud effects,
yeah,
right?
it's one of those, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Okay. Which I think that's fairly clear. That
No, I mean, yeah, buffing your board by 1 power is pretty strong.
totally. And the fact that this can come out of play from the discard pile makes it pretty
Yeah,
hard to get rid of it in general. Um, I guess it actually encourages you to retire it if you can, which is interesting on a tricorn like this. Usually, those cards want to stay in play.
yeah, yeah. It's interesting. I mean, yeah, in a way, it's even better to always have it in your discard pile than in hand. Kinda, it's just
Yeah,
better.
yeah. In the discard pile, it's hasty. In your hand, it's not. Yeah, which I think, frankly, given the amount of durability that reanimator styles have had, it's probably a good idea to, if you're gonna keep going down the tricorn path,
Yeah,
make them in ways that don't necessarily just make reanimator better.
yeah,
So yeah, that's another +1 point for this card.
yeah. Cool card. I think you'll always play this set too.
Pretty much. Yeah,
At 4, it's a bit pricey, but I mean, it's better than full steam.
that's true. That's true, but it's not orange though, or an Earth Pony.
No, yeah,
Actually, one interesting way to, I don't know if this is right, defraying the cost per se. Because this is unique, if you have another copy of it in play, you may as well exhaust it to bring the other one out.
oh yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
yeah, and
Okay.
good point that Grand Pros brings up is that this one, like it is your characters get +1 power. So this is 5 when it hits the field.
Yeah.
All right, yes.
Anyway, enough about
Yeah,
Spitfire. The
we
next
know
card
the
is
next card. Let you've been hinting at the whole stream. Let's go. I'm Go ahead.
Trixie, the Grand Illusionist. She's a unicorn, so she's a proper tricorn, unlike those other not quite tricorns. She has free power, free cost, 2 pink, purple, white Rex, and when you banish a card from play for the first time each turn, you may banish another friend, resource, or troublemaker. Then put that card into play, which by itself is very interesting. We never had a portal effect on a troublemaker, I think, or a resource for that matter. At the start of any phase, you may banish Trixie, so it's at any phase, at any point, not necessarily in your turn. And in main phase, you may pay free AT to play it back. So basically, when it's banished. So basically, banishing her is not that, but like usually banishing a card means it's gone forever, but not with this Trixie. This Trixie, you can always play it back for free AT. It's really cool. So it kind of synergizes with itself because you can banish itself to get like a portal effect on something, right?
Mm-hmm.
It could be at the start of any phase. It's not like it's an ability, so it doesn't really like you're not playing any cards. Like we saw an event earlier that like stopped you from playing cards or anything else. This doesn't care about that, and it's basically a free ET portal at that point, right? It's a one-time use free ET portal until you play it again. which is a reusable free AT portal, I guess, in a way,
Mhm. Uh,
once per turn. But it's much
Grandpa's
better than that because it triggers from other stuff as well.
Yeah, sorry. Grandpa's points out from the chat that that last ability is probably going to get reworded to you may play this card from the banished zone, so that you do require the
Yeah,
wreck when you're doing the
that
banish thing.
makes sense.
Yeah, but otherwise, continue.
Otherwise, you just banish it and you never actually play it. Sorry, I'm having a bit of cough here.
Mhm.
Anyway, I mean, I've described every ability here. It's pretty good. I think it's not expensive. Like the Rex are kind of high, I guess. Well, I mean, they're not high, but like there are a lot of Rex, but it's a tricorn. But the effects are pretty good. You can always replay it. You can't really get rid of it. So removal is not a problem. And when it gets banished, you get a free portal effect. It's a reusable portal. That's what it is. It's a
Mhm.
reusable portal, except other portal effects get multiplied as well. 1 time per turn.
So personally, I think that as far as flavor is concerned, this is one of the best Trixie cards in the whole game ever. Because like we've had a
Maybe
lot,
just best cards in the whole game. No?
maybe frankly, um, because like there have been a lot of Trixie Ultra Rares. Honestly, she's actually one of the most rare
Yeah,
friends in the game.
I think there's 4 of them. 5. I think there's
Uh,
5 of them.
yeah. And a lot of cards have like tried to capture this idea of sleight of hand and like always having a trick for any circumstance, and this just like there are so many different ways that this can be used, and it's so versatile. Um, like it really captures the idea of like no matter what you've got going on, I've got something that'll deal with that. Um, yeah, it's real nice, and not without the drawback. You need to keep paying the 3AT. Like that is a fairly significant resource loss.
It's not that high. Like regular portal is 218. This is 380. Like I don't think that's that much worse than a portal.
It's like it's not backbreaking, but like it is a fair price to pay
Yeah, yeah,
for the versatility that this card gives you.
yeah,
Um, which is at the at like limiting it to the start of any phase is admittedly like it's slightly more restrictive than having it be immediate.
yeah,
Because you do need to like you're not allowed to do this to protect a troublemaker that was about to get defeated, say for example, or or during confront steps at problems or in response to the opponent playing a card.
yeah,
It's got to be kind of planned out beforehand. But still, at the start of any phase is a fair amount of freedom.
yeah. I think it's a really fair amount of freedom. Like it's good. And I mean, if you read like this card can't be your trick for like if this was a card that was like immediate, banish this card. It'll just be like too good. Like it wouldn't really need to have any other tricks at all, right?
Mhm.
This card would be enough most of the time because it just always works.
Yeah,
So I think it's a really fair restriction. I really like that. I really like that.
yeah,
It doesn't like it's not bad, but it's not like too good either.
yeah.
Which I mean, for Trixie could go too good, but
Mhm. And it also has like obviously great synergy with any of the other cards in your deck that banish stuff, which isn't necessarily just removal. That there's
yes.
lots of other effects that banish your own stuff from discard pile or from hand or whatever.
No, this has to be banished from play though.
Has to be from play. Okay.
Yeah, but still, there are cards that banish themselves, like the Headmare Twilight. She banishes herself from play when
Mm-hmm.
you copy an event.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a fair amount of banish themselves cards.
Yeah. Or any of the other portal stuff that we've seen before.
Yeah,
Like even
you know what? I just realized. You know what? Purple banishes a lot from play. Resources.
That is what purple does with resources. Yeah.
So, I mean, this card works at that. You can any resource removal with purple is now a portal. That's kind of cool. I like that. Because it doesn't say what card, it's just banish a card from play.
Hmm.
Could be any card for
Hmm.
any reason, as
Could
long as you
be
do it.
could be your own staff that you just flipped a mysterious disappearance on.
Yeah. Oh man, imagine the what's her name? Flurry card that banishes resources and gives you ET for them.
Hmm.
You get her twice with this. Damn. Because you play her, she banishes a resource, and then you portal her and she banishes another one.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, that is pretty good actually.
Oh yeah, I hope this card is like actually competitive because I really like it. And it's
I
not just because of Trixie. It's a really good card in text as well and in flavor.
I
I think it.
yeah, I find it hard to believe that this wouldn't be competitive. Like
Yeah, I hope so.
these two colors have tended to work together really well when they work together. And like just how versatile this card is, I would find a hard.
Yeah, and it's not expensive. Like 380 is
Yeah,
a good cost for it. Like I like this card. This might be my favorite Trixie card now.
yeah. I just
If
I
it gets released, that is.
I'm almost a little afraid for it to be released because like what are you gonna rate this? Are you gonna rate this like 100, a million? Like
Oh yeah, it's gonna be higher than 5. That's for sure.
obviously.
Oh yeah, good card. Good card.
Really good card. Yeah. Really happy with the design. A A plus, grandpas. I don't know if it was you that
Yeah.
designed it, but whoever did on Sim. Good stuff.
All right,
Uh
we should chop chop.
yes.
3
Yep.
cards left.
Let's try to get on
Oh,
with it.
actually, 4 cards left. Ooh.
Oh, is it really four more?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a whole nother batch, I guess. This was the try to help white batch, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Um outrageous outfit. It's a resource. That's white. It is an accessory with power 5, 2 cost, 3 requirement. Goes on a friend and turns that friend into a mini RTO, basically. Actually, I mean, with today's problems, it basically turns that friend into RTO, frankly.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, Grandpa's just letting us know one of these was having an update as well. Yeah, you know, most problems these days have one bonus if they have anything. Uh, well, I say these days. In the meta where it's like your opponent's deck is final question more often than not. But anyway, um, yeah, it is one. Well, yeah, a little bit of point acceleration. For white.
Yeah.
This
It's a nice
obviously,
callback.
yeah. Honestly, yes, yeah, it is a great callback. This obviously there are many ways to do this. Or to get extra synergy with this with immediate speed movement and wasn't there? There's like a weird thing you can do with alternative solution for this, right? Or the purple problem that you necessarily just confront twice every turn. I feel like there was.
Mm, maybe.
I feel like there was a conversation in Discord about that I'm just blanking on that came up with some interesting interaction that allowed you to just get it twice. Anyway,
Anyway, I mean, this is an RTO. We like
yeah,
it's all of the things you can do with RTO, you can do with this card.
pretty much. Yeah. Shall we move on?
Choo-choo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm getting the message. I'm just gonna pause for a moment. Say, okay, this isn't the one that Grandpa's wants to update. Third wheel. 2 cost, 2 power, 1 requirement in white. When this card enters play or leaves play, put a unicorn friend token with prepared into play. Hey, it's a card we would love to portal. It's a card we would really love to portal, frankly.
It's in white,
So
and a really low white.
yeah, yeah. Because white isn't already enough about making as many unicorn friend tokens as possible.
It was pink white before because of bodyguards.
Uh,
I'm so glad Trixie's pink white. It's so good.
remember summoning bells in fond memories too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that card that has seen like no play, which is weird. Frankly, I feel like we gave it like fairly good ratings. But anyway, yeah. Um, yeah, this is an early game card that you are going to be. Well, yeah, you want to basically come up with as many ways to retire and get this out of the discard pile or portal it or whatever to maximize your unicorn tokens.
This card reminds me of old yellow. Well, it's not that old. Card Furball, I think it's called, right? That
It is close to that, yes.
I think when it enters play, you get a creature token, and then it has persistent, and then you frighten it, it gets a creature token.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. And it's similar to this card, except this one is better, right? Because well, I mean, creatures sometimes are also really good,
Mm-hmm.
but unicorns was prepared much better than just playing creatures with 1 power,
Yeah.
unless you have some other cards for creatures.
Yeah, Grandpa's points out that this is a really good card for Ocellus. I hadn't thought about that. Because
Oh yeah,
tokens by definition have power higher than cost, as long as they have power.
yep.
And yeah, this is 1 white, so it is. Yeah, that's a really good point. Frankly, I'll admit that where my mind went right away was, well, yeah, pair it with purple for the portal effect, and now I've got a whole pile of unicorns I can use to copy events with, and we're off to the races in unicorn aggro, aren't we?
I see.
But I'm sure it's
Of
great.
course, your mind went to unicorn aggro.
I'm sure it's
I'm
great
not
with
sure why.
white mains too. Uh,
Just make a Celis a unicorn. I mean, she's a changeling. She can be a unicorn.
good point. But yeah, well, yeah, we already tried to push more unicorn tokens with summoning bell, and apparently it didn't work. So sure, throw more on the fire. We'll know when it's too much.
Yeah, just keep doing it until it works.
It worked for yellow.
Oh, and once it's done, yeah, exactly.
Moving on.
Yeah, it's the main.
Okay, this might be the one that Grandpa's wants to fix for us, or not. Okay, Sandbar and Yona, Hearts and Hooves couple. Yes, it is the main. And Earthstonian Yak, obviously. Normal stuff. Home limit 3, 4, 1 white, 3 white. So, at the end of your turn, front side text, if you have no action tokens, put a friendship counter on this card. Then, if it has 2 or more friendship counters on it, remove them and turn this card over. So, just got to use all your action tokens twice. Well,
Yeah.
use all your action tokens or lose them somehow, which would suck, but at least it would turn your main over. And then on the backside, when you spend any number of action tokens to play a card with white play requirement, give a character +1 power until the end of the turn for each action token spent this way. So kind of Octavia-ish.
Yeah.
Similar in a way. Doesn't have some of the tricks that Octavia can do with your opponent playing friends and stuff, but it's got the same kind of feel. You're playing cards and boosting your characters off of them.
I think this is really strong. Because any card you play, right, gets power boost. As long as you play white.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
you're probably playing white. I hope.
Yeah, could go. I mean, yeah, you could go
I
moth.
think this is better than Octavia because I
Um,
mean Octavia. So Octavia gives you 2 power to some other friend, which was kind of like always was kind of a big deal. That with Octavia, that you kind of had to have something at the problem before she can be useful.
yep.
And she only gives 2 power. And I mean, yeah, 2 power can be better than this if you're playing cheap stuff like 1 power stuff, which Octavia did like to do. But Octavia also played a lot of 2 power stuff, and like as long 2 cost, sorry, 2 cost stuff. Like as long as you play 2 cost stuff, you always get pretty much at least effect as good as Octavia, if not better, right?
hmm
So, but I guess one thing here is that Octavia triggered on tokens because it was enters play, and this one is when you spend 18.
hmm
So I guess in that way it works. It doesn't really synergize with tokens like Octavia did.
So here's a question: is this a farming main?
Oh no!
Because now, like, yeah, if you have like immediate speed white events, you can play them during the face-off with the Troublemaker to boost your main up.
Oh, oh no!
I don't know. I don't know if there are enough white events that fit that requirement that are immediate speed events that you could play during face-offs to have.
Really?
Oh,
Well,
all right. Grandpa says there's a
there
problem.
aren't many expensive ones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like a lot of them are like 180 or
Uh,
280. No, maybe not even like Reliving History is 180. Yeah, like that's the thing.
okay. So here's what you got to do. You got to donate a spoons to your opponent. So you have to pay more AT for your
Oh,
events.
but that's. Oh yeah, it does say It doesn't say anything about the cost. You're right. You just donate spoons. Genius.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, you're playing Chrysalis main? Great. She works against events, right?
She does. It's just the first card you play every turn. Yeah.
Well, it's perfect.
Yeah. So maybe not the most competitive idea. Sorry, that's just where my mind went. Um,
God, Bonate strats. We're always on Bonate strats.
it's
Every card we see, we keep Bonate in mind.
it's white. It's like we gotta make the best white card work, right?
It's true.
But yeah, in more sort of general terms, I agree. This looks like a pretty good, generically useful white main. But really, I don't know about well, yes, really easy to flip. It means that you are for the first few turns of the game. Well, yeah, you're encouraged to play stuff, which great, right?
Or I mean, you could just draw cards.
Uh, well, yeah. In the absolute worst case scenario, you could just draw cards if you've got nothing better to do in your hand. Um, but I mean, first turn, maybe play a stick. Great. Second turn, play some more stuff. Great. Your main slipped over, and you've gotten yourself a good boost
Yeah,
into an aggro game plan. Maybe I don't know, aggro or
yeah,
mid range or whatever.
yeah.
Seems good.
I
Which
guess.
yeah, this is what white needed was a good general purpose main to use.
Yeah, I missed Octavia. Octavia was a fun name.
Mm-hmm.
Now we need Muffin Mayor. Come on, Muffin Mayor was amazing.
Muffin Mare was really good.
It's
It
probably my second favorite main in the
she
game.
had a whole sort of archetype that was all her own. Um,
Yeah,
which it
like I really like Muffin. Again, second favorite main in the game. That's how
actually,
much I like Muffin
yeah,
Mayor.
that's really high praise coming from you, honestly. Yeah.
The first one is tricky.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, last card.
Last card, sure. Uh, right, yeah, it was this one. Play fair. Uh, resource. White resource is a condition. Goes on a friend, is hasty, has 4 power, 1 cost, 3 rec. Players can't play cards during the score phase. This is, oh, yes, okay. By process of elimination, this is the one that Grandpa's wants to update. All right, play on a character. That character has power equal to their printed power and can't gain or lose power. And players can't play cards during the score phase. Okay, so, all right, so not hasty. That's a fairly important distinction. Yeah, and power equal to their printed power, can't gain or lose power. Yeah, so.
Oh, it's not hasty anymore? That's kind of important.
Oh, okay, no. It is still hasty. Okay, fair enough. That's okay. That's
okay.
just okay. Good. So that makes this a pretty interesting. Well, it was obviously a control card anyway. That gives it a little bit more utility in that regard because it's also well, it's removal. It's kind of
Oh,
softish.
okay. So the only thing that changed is that extra line there about
Yeah.
power being equal. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what, like, when I first read that card, like, it was kind of weird to me that, like, you play it on a friend, but then it doesn't really do anything. Like, it could be play home. And I thought, like, maybe that's because, friends are easier to remove and you don't want that card to stick around forever or something. But now everything makes more sense.
Yeah. And Grandpa's also points
Oh,
out
now it's playable on the characters.
characters. Yes.
So it's the opposite of what I thought. I thought about, oh, maybe it should be easier to remove. Nope.
Yeah. Yeah, so that being on a character, that's pretty good. That actually, well, obviously broadens its applicability. Pretty good.
Oh,
Hmm?
we should get AJ back, and this would be the number one counter card to AJ farm.
Right. That is how we're going to make white viable, is bring back Applejack main.
I mean, it's like a cardboard box, but better.
I see no problems with this
Well,
strategy.
not better, but yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, this is, as I said, it's a more of a pie end to white control than white mid range, but it's a pretty decent trick
Mm-hmm.
in flavor for white. Yes, as Grandpa points out, in adventure, big big tech against Bluna.
Yeah.
A main that kind of enjoys playing stuff during the score phase. Who'd have thought? Um,
Big tech against control.
it is true. Yeah, if you want to run it back the other direction, it is a pretty good tech against control as well. It kind of says, well, it forces you to play sort of straight up aggro where you're not doing any tricky stuff during the score phase, but yeah, turning off any score phase tricks from the opponent.
It should just say Balloona players can't play cards during the score phase.
I mean,
That would be fair.
That's kind of what, like, the effect. It was a capper before. Players can't move stuff during the score phase, or whatever. That's basically what that card said.
Yeah, you're right. That was the Balloona players can't have one card.
Mm-hmm.
So I know we've talked about not playing cards a lot, but what about not being able to gain or lose power? When do you think that would be useful?
Well, so like on a main, it's useful on, I don't know, say they have a staff in play.
Yeah, or a
Knocks
Celos.
off the +3 power, or Ocellus, or in general, any friend that's got a big stack of +1 power counters on it.
Yeah, or Berry Punch, the one that has power equal to the hand size.
Yep, exactly.
But like at that point, it's I don't see this card being used as a friend control. I don't think it's
it's
worth it.
like, yeah, that's not its primary use. It gives it a little bit of extra utility that way, though. Like,
I guess.
yeah, it in extremely rare circumstances, you might even want to play it on your own friend. In extremely rare circumstances,
Yeah.
if there's some minus power going on. Um, oh,
Yeah, like some burst.
Rockhoof, yeah, that's a good point there, Grandpa. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean there are a lot of cards that like low power and eventually they get big. That's for sure. Like I don't. Obviously, it can be used as play. I just don't think that's like.
well, so like, obviously, Grandpas can correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding would be that basically the card was like a little weak in the iteration that we're showing on screen, and so this is a way to give it just a
Okay.
little bit more utility without changing what its core purpose is, basically.
Well, playing on the character is a pretty big buff.
I mean, yeah, that's a pretty big buff as well. Yeah,
That's like huge. It makes a world of difference. And
yeah,
that's what I think. Like, I think it's going to be played with characters because it's kind of annoying to play a resource and then it just goes away.
yeah. Frankly, in adventure, this is a pretty big card to play against Ambassador Rainbow Dash. Takes off
Yeah,
her
yeah,
competitive and her
yeah.
staff and everything. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's it.
Pretty much. Yeah. Well, that's all the cards. Finally. Uh, yeah. Spoiler streams, eh? Aren't they great?
Yeah, I mean, I love this. Was my favorite spoiler stream so far.
it. Well, I mean, we all know how to please Hithrock.
I mean, it was. We've never had this many trixies before.
It's true. Certainly not as a proportion of spoilers.
Not even like. I mean, all of the sets had like no more. No, the was it leaders that had two trixies? There's the
Um,
yellow one and another one,
right.
the
Well,
portaling one.
uh, yeah, I think so.
I think that was leaders. Yeah, it might have been the set after leaders. I don't remember, but it had two trixies in it. But yeah, not within one spoiler stream.
I guess not within one that you were on, because I think Defenders had two Trixies. It
Oh
had,
yeah, it must have been defenders.
well, like, yeah, like Defenders had the Redeem Trixie, and I assume something else.
Oh no, yeah, okay. But Defenders of Equestria was it had like two trixies, that's for sure. But I wasn't on the spoiler
Yeah,
stream
you
for
went on the
that,
spoiler
so
stream for that. Yes. Of
doesn't count.
Yeah, like,
Again, two trixies were in New Dawn. That's right.
yeah, I remember, like, I do know, like, Trixie's kind of been weird that way. She's been kind of like Starlight. Like, every set has one of her, or two. She's very
Yeah,
consistent, but doesn't show up like in high frequencies.
yeah. Well, I mean, Utopia points out that High Magic had three trixies. I mean, to be honest, it should have had more trixies.
It
It
was like the
literally
Trixie
has
themed set.
Trixie's cute.
It's
It
true.
has a
Yeah.
Trixie cutie mark for a set icon. So technically, there's Trixie on every High Magic card.
Ah, good point.
But yeah, I mean, I liked all of the cards. I think there weren't any cards that was like, I don't know. I think they're all
Yeah, yeah, they were
cool.
all nifty, cool designs that would serve a purpose. As you know, as I'll say again, we're not going to get all of them at once, probably not. But some subset of these, yeah, I'd love to see them in a supplement or a set or whatever.
Yeah, at least a subset of two cards.
Sure, right, yeah. So, with that being said, thank you everyone for coming out and joining us today. Uh, we are, well, I at least, I'm going to be back on tonight for the invitational stream. It's going to be starting at 8 p.m. Central Time, so that's 6 Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern. It's Smithers and Bugle playing tonight.
Ooh.
Yeah, should be a fun time. Otherwise, well, the two of us are going to be back 2 weeks from now. I guess what is that? October 15th. Yeah.
Yeah.
With something else, we'll figure it out. Otherwise, is there anything else you want to say, Hitfart, before we go?
Trixie.
Of course. We'll see you in a fortnight.
Bye.